Welcome to Cooking on the Farm. I'm Rachel, and I've been in my garden all day, but we're gonna head inside and we're gonna have breakfast for dinner. We're gonna make some French toast. Let's go check out our ingredients. What you're gonna need to make French toast is obviously bread, eggs, milk, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, a pinch of salt. If you don't want it sweetened, stop there. If you want it sweetened, you can either use brown sugar or maple syrup. I'm gonna mix this in my blender. So I'm gonna use a lot because I am doing this whole loaf of gluten-free bread. And then I'm gonna use another loaf of not gluten-free bread because I'm gluten-free and the rest of the family is not. So, but I can use the same mix as long as I do gluten-free first. All right, so I'm gonna do a dozen eggs because we are getting a bunch of eggs. It's springtime, we're getting tons. So I'm probably gonna use the full dozen eggs. So you notice that the maple syrup says St. Clair's maple syrup. That is actually from a friend of mine. Her and her husband were like, let's just try to tap our maple trees. And they did. And their maple syrup is super good. They can't sell it because they don't have a food handler's license and a certified kitchen and things like that. But they give it to friends and family. If you're cracking eggs from your chickens and your shells are super soft and they're cracking really easy, they need some more calcium. So you need to get them some shell from the feed store. So I've got 12 eggs. I'm gonna start with a cup of milk. Normally I don't measure. It's all by eyeball. Nope, I'm gonna add another cup of milk. 2 cups of milk for a dozen eggs. So I like to do equal parts egg to milk ratio. It's a lovely raw egg floating in your milk. If you know what movie that's from, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so cinnamon. I'm gonna put about a teaspoon. That seems like a lot, but this is a lot of eggs. And if it's a little more, that's fine. If it's a little less, that's fine. Nutmeg, I'm actually gonna do it in my palm because you can get too much nutmeg and kind of get kind of a soapy smell. That is a 2-finger pinch, even though I grabbed it with 3 fingers. We're gonna go for a quarter to half teaspoon. And the same with the cloves. Woo. We're gonna go for a quarter teaspoon. I'm gonna do a 3-finger pinch, which is close to a teaspoon of salt. So now you have the choice. You can either use brown sugar or maple syrup. I'm gonna use a little bit of both because, again, this is very precious. So I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of this, about a tablespoon of this in here. And then I'm just gonna mix her up. And I'm gonna scrape my sides down. I am going to dump a bunch of this in. It's very cinnamony. That's how I like it. I ended up adding a full tablespoon to this. All right, I'm not gonna put all this in here. My bread is frozen. Ugh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna plop this in here. I actually like to do it with gluten-free bread that is frozen because it doesn't break apart as much when it gets soggy. And with the frozen bread, it does take a little bit longer to soak up. So I kind of dip and dunk and always have kind of an extra piece to push in. And then I'll flop that guy in and then try my best to dunk them. And with gluten-free bread, it's a lot smaller too. I have this little griddle thing here and it's on very low. It's been heating up for a while. I am just going to pull these out and I'm gonna try to shake off a bunch. If you don't use a blender, you will have kind of, I don't know what to call them, like egg strings. If you've ever made French toast before, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you'll have stringy egg hanging off. So I am just pulling this off and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I did realize that I forgot to show you adding the vanilla in. So those of you who have been around here for a while know that I love vanilla. And so I probably in that amount put about 2 tablespoons in there, maybe a touch more. I am going to get my next loaf of bread ready. After I get these moved off, I will move these to the side so there's no cross-contamination. For those of you who are celiac, things like that, this is where you move this product off. All right, I'm gonna bring my next tray on. So if you get one like this one, if I leave it in, it's gonna get really soggy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put these guys in, flip them over, and this is a way that you can do several at a time while you're waiting for those. Okay, so I'm gonna stack them because I know I am contaminating this entire bag by putting my kind of a goopy hand in there. So I'm kind of soaking up the bottom. So then this piece, I'm just gonna set in here and it's gonna soak up all the stuff. And then these guys will drip down on top of it and soak it. So notice how the cinnamon is evenly dispersed on all of them. It's not clumped. When you just hand whisk it, the cinnamon doesn't disperse. So that's why I like to use the blender. It doesn't take much. Like I've got it empty. So good. All right, if you love breakfast as much as we do, try this French toast. Bye guys, God bless. Thanks Ayla and Adam and kids. We'll see. All right, I'm just gonna start cracking. Where's my container? Oh, it's in the dishwasher. And woo! I'm making a mess.
You put that right in front of my shop.
Sorry. Man. Woo! I am just making a mess. And a brief intermission.
Okay, hold on.
So I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of this.
So a gallon.
Oh, it's a gallon. And every last drop I get. So good.
Of course.
I forgot the vanilla.
Oh no.
Farfig Newton. All right, you wanna grab this one too?